All right. One trade, one and done today for Monday. We're trading off the VWAP. I'm going to show you the trade, talk about some of the things I could have done a little bit better, right? There's a couple things that I could do a little bit better, and I'm going to explain why it's so important to have that patience and how you can maximize your profits just by having a little bit more patience, Patrick. Today, locking in some profit. Went fishing this morning, came back, put a trade on, saw the VWAP bounce. The setup was there. It was textbook A++ setup for me. And, well, I'm going to show you guys a trade right here in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. All right, so we just got a VWAP bounce here on the NASDAQ. This is a 2-minute chart. We bounced off the VWAP there earlier. I'm looking for a pullback into this 14 EMA to take a long here. We had this pullback here and kind of bounce off this area that we broke out of earlier. So I would like to see this 74, possibly a little bit lower. See if we can get a long. We got the ES going straight up right now, so I'm going to just try a long here. See if we get this pushed through the high of day for a quick 10 points up into 910, 912 area. All right, so we're looking for this push up. I probably chased this entry here earlier, but you can see could have been a little bit more patient. Got that pullback to the 90s. Kind of interesting too, like the bottom of this candle right there, this 90 level right there at that pivot point. Obviously the better entry. But now we're looking to see if we can get this push up there through the high of day. So far, the high 905. Look for that push up. And then I like to get about 20 points out of this. So basically risking off of this 85 level long right now. Definitely. I was watching the ES kind of going straight up there for a minute, but we're back in the green here. See this push up as we get to the 918s or so. So a little frustrating, obviously. The FOMO here was real. Definitely a little bit of a FOMO entry. The plan, we said we were going to wait for this kind of 86 level. We got to a low of 87.50. Now trying to push up through the high of day, being patient, looking for this 918 area or so. If I look, yeah, I think there's not really any reason to get stuck right here. So I like to try to get that kind of 20 points out of this. If we can move through the 10s next, I'll look to move my stop and kind of follow this up. You know, it's funny too as you think about this. Really from the 88s, I mean, that's 10 points. We could have got better profit there. And then our target would really, we would be like pretty much locking in profit right here. But obviously, again, pointing out the fact of like, hey, being patient there is probably more important than not being, obviously, being patient. But you can see the amount of, you know, that's up to a high now of 08. So if we were long from the 88s, we could be taking profit right now instead of still be in the trade. So the risk, obviously, a lot lower trying to get that better pullback there. That 14 EMA, that blue line. So just going to let it work out and see if we can get this push up through the 10s next. We got a pivot point all the way to the upside there, all the way to 68. So like I said, nothing really standing out in terms of resistance here. It's also kind of frustrating too because I obviously would have, you know, I would move my stop loss right now to the low of these candles. If my entry was down here, I could basically be guaranteeing that I lock in profit here. So again, you know, patience, a very important lesson. This is a good lesson of patience for me. So at this point, I'm going to move my stop to, I think this level here, just to make sure we at least guarantee that we walk away with a break-even trade. Again, you know, my entry really should have been down here, and that would have been locking in 10 points right now. So we get this push through the 10s, looking for that push up there towards the 20s next. I'm going to move my stop now to 05s, 06s right here, just to guarantee that we are right there. Just to guarantee that we try to lock in at least $500 here on this trade. It's kind of having trouble getting through this high. Might just chop around, maybe pull back again here. So I don't want to give back all the profits, but still giving it some room through the 10s. This would be my take profit if I would have waited and been patient for my entry down here at the 87, 88 level down there. So there we go. Nice little push up here. Can we go all the way through watching this? I'm going to move my stop right here to 1075. Guarantee we lock in $1,000. And there we go. Locking it in. So a little over $1,000 there. One trade here today. The lesson, like, we're always trying to go through the lessons here. This would have been a $2,000 trade, right? And I could have been a lot more confident to hold this for longer because we would basically be up. We would have had our 10 points here at the 900s. We would have been 900 point, 900 would have been 10 points all day. It really just comes down to trying to get these little pullbacks. Like, you kind of really want these, pullbacks into these like previous areas, which I've found very often we get very darn close to these previous areas of resistance. So this level right here at the 86s, we got to a low. So maybe not, maybe not the best, but we still could have got a much better entry than getting long up here at the 89s or the 99s. So we still locked in over $1,000 here on that one trade. Obviously, I want it to be more. And I want to show you guys, this is the 2-minute chart with the VWAP, the white line, the bounce off the VWAP. We had the breakout here for the Patrick Whelan Lux Algo breakout right here, that line, the breakout confirmed. We were above the 14 EMA. We also had the 15-minute opening range right there, the 15-minute opening range, the high. So we pushed above that. A couple things to focus on here. The VWAP, there she goes. She's trying to probably push our target now, but we had the 14 EMA, we had the 15-minute opening range turning into support. VWAP was bounced. The 14 EMA respected, pretty much turning into support, and then getting that move back above the 15-minute opening range. We had the confirmation with the breakout through that trend line, and yeah, overall great setup. How could I have played it better? I think really, obviously, trying to get that pullback, like we said, into that kind of 86 level would have been really nice, obviously, in hindsight now. But there it is, the up to a high so far of 1375. But you can see just how much more, reward comes out of this trade. Buying here on this little pullback, I didn't want to talk about it, but obviously the reward is much greater. Right, we got a very, very nice reward from the 90s. Okay, we get up to 900s. We put our stop loss right there. It pushes through the high here. We put our stop loss right there. So, that's 10 points. That's 20 points. And then our target would have been 30 points there. So we got out at a good time. The dollar's starting to push back up. I don't like trying to hold that breakout setup when the dollar's kind of there. But still, one trade today, locking it in nice and easy. And that's all we need to do. Like, literally all we need to do is just kind of get these easy trades, in, out, take profit, and having just an easy type of setup. You can see still showing strength here, still above the 14 EMA, 2-minute chart, Patrick Whelan indicator, the Lux Algo indicator on there. Right there, the market flow, trend lines, and liquidity with the VWAP on there. Very simple, everything, nothing really that out of the ordinary there. So VWAP, 15-minute opening range, all playing out beautifully here. We saw this morning as well the bounce off of the VWAP there, right? VWAP this morning bounce. And what I've noticed is, I don't want to say for sure, but on a good day, VWAP bounces, you're normally pretty much like looking for 20 to 50 points minimum for a bounce off of the VWAP. So that was the 48s up there to the 900s for about 50 points. And then this from the 60s, again, up there to the 910s, about 50 points. So 50-point bounces are kind of a pretty fair, I think very realistic target when you're getting these VWAP bounces. So if you haven't put the VWAP on the chart, definitely put it on the chart there and check it out. So I'm going to be done. Take my one trade and lock in $1,000 there on a Monday. Mega Money Mondays here. And just getting it just nice and easy. We don't need to overcomplicate it. We don't need to keep trading. It's easy. Obviously, I missed out on these two setups. I was out fishing this morning, but I didn't get the best entry here, or this one here. Even at open, you can see we held the VWAP there at open and ended up squeezing up. If you look at the 1 minute chart here, right at open, guess what? We bounced off of the VWAP and pushed up there for about 50 points or so. Yeah, about 50 points up there to the 80s. So 50 points, VWAP bounces. 50 points, VWAP bounces.